Hello? Is this not on? Hello! How are you guys? Good. It's 10:30 on Saturday morning and you're here! And you're awake! It's good to see you. How are you guys?
Tired.
Tired? Did you get up to no good last night?
Here.
Okay, good. Well, welcome. My name is, for those of you who don't know, my name is David Vincent, and I am a voice actor. I'm based in Los Angeles, California. Pardon me. And one of my favorite things to do is travel to conventions, but especially to come to a convention in Colorado because I'm from Colorado. So I'm actually from Arvada, Colorado. Were you here last night? You were? You were in cosplay though? No. Okay. Why do you look so familiar? But at any rate, so I'm from Colorado. So for me, getting to come to a convention in Colorado is like a homecoming. So I'm super thrilled to be here. I'm from Arvada. I went to University of Colorado, and so it's great to be back. I'll tell you a little bit about my background as an actor and as a voiceover artist. Because I guess this panel is about a little bit about the business of voice acting. Does everybody here want to be a voice actor? Or want to try it, or give it a shot, or learn a little bit more about it? Good, excellent. So I'm going to give you a bunch of gory details and exciting stuff to go try out if this is something that you want to do. Let me just tell you a little bit about my background. I've been an actor now for 20 years. After I graduated from the University of Colorado, I moved to New York City. And while I was there, I lived in Manhattan, and I did a ton of theater, I did a ton of stand-up, I did sketch comedy, I did all kinds of fun stuff before I actually wound up getting into voiceover work. Some of the roles that you guys might know me from here, did anybody see a series called Gun Sword, or Gun X Sword? Yes, so a few of you have, yeah. Pardon me, that was one of my first main roles in an anime, one of my favorite shows that I've worked on. Any Code Geass fans? Awesome, so I played Lee Shinke in Code Geass. In Bleach, I played Grimjow Jaggerjack. Let's see. Durarara, I played Seiji Yagami, who's a 15-year-old in love with a disembodied head. And then in, let's see, Blue Exorcist, I played Arthur Auguste Angel. One of my favorite roles, Fate Zero, and Fate Stay Night, I played Gilgamesh. Yes, mongrels. Kill la Kill, I played a talking sailor uniform, Senketsu. In One Piece, I played Duval, and then in Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, is anybody watching Jojo's? Woo. Awesome, you can hear me as the narrator in that series. Mobile Suit Gundam, which is just a classic series, you can hear me as Naze Turbin, and then a bunch of other stuff in the different Gundam worlds. Let's see, as in Magi, The Adventures of Sinbad, you can hear me as Barbarossa. Hunter x Hunter is Finks, and then loads and loads of video games. Any Blaze Blue fans? Awesome. So you can hear me as Jin Kisaragi and Hakumen in Blaze Blue. Castlevania as Richter Belmont. Let's see, Tekken, one of my favorite roles, martial law in Tekken, which I loved. And then Super Street Fighter is T-Hawk, Resident Evil, Raven Vester, blah, 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 blah. Oh, Fire Emblem, I have to say that one. Robin and Fire Emblem. In Super Smash Brothers, which is absolutely awesome. I love that series. Let's see, God Eater, whole bunch of other ones. And then Blaze Blue cross tag title with Ruby and Persona, which will be coming out, I believe in June it comes out this year. And then tons of other stuff that I can't tell you about yet, because I'm under contract. So, I've also done a lot of on-camera work. I've done, guest starring roles and co-starring roles on TV shows like NCIS, The Mentalist, and that goes way back. So I've done a lot of television. I've done a lot of film work, and I have obviously been a voiceover artist for quite a number of years. So I am here again. This is really more about asking me what you want to know about the industry. Obviously, I saw a lot of hands and how to break into the industry, good ideas to get started, how to get started, and I'm here to answer any questions, and then who knows, maybe we can have a little fun. I can bring somebody up here. We can do some nonverbal voice acting cues or something. We'll do something. But to start off, what is your name? Nicole, have we met before? Why do you look so familiar? I swear, I'm looking at a family member here in the front row. I'm like, hi. Anyway, sorry, you look so familiar. Okay, so does anybody have any initial questions to start off? Yes.
How essential is it to be based out of LA?
How essential is it to be based out of Los Angeles? You can make your living as a voiceover artist anywhere in the world. If you want to do animation, anime, video games, the type of stuff that I'm well known for, you got to be in LA. But here's the thing: as a voiceover artist, like what a lot of people don't realize is that like I sell haircuts on the radio. You'll hear Grimjow Jaggerjack saying, you know, Kmart, lowest sale prices every time, you know? So that type of stuff also is part of being a voice actor, and that's actually the majority of being a voice actor is that type of work, and there's a ton of that kind of work out there. And you don't necessarily have to be based in Los Angeles for that, or New York, or Dallas for anime. But what I'll say is, you know, if you want to do that kind of work, you got to make the move. But you can be a voiceover artist right here, and you can book work from Denver. There's a ton of local voiceover work here, radio, local TV commercials, all kinds of stuff. I mean, when I was in high school and when I was in college, you know, I was going to auditions for all kinds of stuff here. I did theater here. I did tons of theater here. I did theater at my high school, at Arvada High School. I did. There's a theater called, I don't even know if it's still here anymore, but it was called the In Vogue Theater, somewhere downtown, and Lord knows I can't remember, it's been so many years. But I did theater down here, I did theater at Metro State, I did theater at University of Colorado in Boulder, so I did it all over the place. And then with that type of stuff, there are student films, there's just a ton of opportunity here. So, and honestly, I'll really date myself, but when I was here, the internet wasn't a thing, right? And so now you have this entirely new platform of media that needs voiceover. So there's tons of opportunity for voiceover work. And you don't have to be in LA. It's just specifically if you want to do animation and the type of animation that we do, you're gonna have to be there. Because they're not gonna hire you, because you have to be physically in the studio there with the director, with the producers, and that's just the nature of it. But great question. Let's go you first and then you next. Yeah.
What makes for an effective reel?
What makes for an effective reel? You know what? I'm gonna try, bear with me, I'm gonna try and pull mine up and I'll have you listen to mine. I haven't changed it in years, but I should. What makes, what's that?
Define reel.
Oh, what a reel is. So what a reel is that's your calling card, that's your business card as an actor, as a voiceover actor. And basically what it is it's a short compilation of all of your voiceover work. And it's a minute long, okay? No longer. I mean, maybe like a minute 15, right? But no longer than that. And you put your best stuff right at the beginning, because you have to understand, like producers and directors, they get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reels. And so like they're gonna listen to the first 5 seconds, and you don't hook them in the first 5 seconds, done. Next, 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 because they have to get stuff done. So what makes an effective reel is, and let me see if I can actually pull mine up. And I'll play it for you. I just don't know if I have it pulled up. Let me see. Oop. Is that it? I might be in luck. Okay. Okay, yes, I do have it. So hopefully it'll play over the microphone, but I'll let you listen to my animation reel, and just so you can kind of get an idea of what a demo reel sounds like. So let me see if I can get this to play.
Ooh, somebody's getting his Christmas goose early. I don't know why you're saving those candies for something special. They's goodies.
Mom, come on! I don't want to go home. I want to stay and play with a vampire.
I just killed a girl who looked exactly like her. But I'm so happy. I get to kill you again!
And this just in, instead of his shadow, this groundhog stuck his derriere in the area. Wow, say that 5 times fast.
I already told you. We can't save everyone.
What you getting so mad about? I said you got love handles for handling a lot of love.
Oh, no, you don't. That's my hockey stick.
Yeah, Billy, you wish you were never even born.
The sixth spot is Green Joe again.
So that's an example of a demo reel. So for those of you who have never heard one before, so that's a demo reel. What that is just a compilation of some of my work. And you send that off, and then that gives the producer or the director or whoever is doing the casting, that gives them the idea of your range, what you can do, how you sound in a professional setting. So if that makes sense. So what a good thing is again to hook them in with that first 5 seconds of your demo reel, make it the best you got. Good question. You had a question next. Yes.
Yeah, my question is, for someone who's going to live in LA, what do you say is the most efficient way to book auditions?
For somebody who's living in Los Angeles,
Yes.
The most efficient way to book auditions, don't suck. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding, man. No, here's the thing. Move to Los Angeles. Are you planning on making that move?
Yes.
Good for you. Godspeed, and honestly, best of luck. Go for it, man. Go for it. And when you go there, do you have a network of people you already know?
I know a few people up there.
Good. That's super helpful. So what I would say is, number one, good for you. Plan ahead. Get out there and take as many classes as you can. That's the best way. And I'm sorry, give me your exact question again.
Just what would you say is the most efficient way to book auditions?
Okay, to get auditions, you mean?
Yes.
To book them, to get them? Okay, so yeah, the most effective way moving to Los Angeles to get auditions is to, and this is actually super important, is networking. So get out there, and honestly, like you've saved your money for rent, you've saved your money for that, all that stuff, save your money for the proper classes.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because Los Angeles is different. When I moved to New York, after I graduated, I moved to New York and I hit the stage. I did theater, I did tons of theater. I did stand-up, I did sketch comedy. My job was to be on stage. So I was on stage the whole time when I moved there. And that's how I got my start, because an agent was sitting in the audience at one of my performances. And she saw me and was like, oh, here's my card, you gotta call me. And so Los Angeles is a bit different. There's no theater scene there, right? So what you need to do is take as many classes as you can when you get there, and make sure that when you get there that you're not taking classes, because of course there's always fly-by-night people that want to just take your money, right?
Right.
So you need to take classes from reputable people, okay? Look at the credits, okay? Have they worked in the industry? Have they cast? What are their, I have to find my light. The lights just came on, sorry. So, you need to, see, now it's the mark of a true actor who's been on stage, is all of a sudden the lights are on and I find my light immediately. But the most important thing is to make sure that whoever it is entirely reputable. Look at the credits, look at what they have done. What have they cast? What have they done that proves that they're a working industry professional? Take classes from them, and avoid. There are so many showcases in Los Angeles where they just want to take your money because there's a bunch of bored agents that want to make some extra cash. So then they go into these showcases and sit there and twiddle their thumbs while you audition for them. And then they take their money and leave. So Do your homework when it comes to those. That's a double-edged sword because some of those work, some of them don't.
Good to know.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. And good luck. Good luck. Go get it, dude. Good for you. Yeah.
How hard was it for you to first voice that character?
How hard was it for me to first get the job or to voice the character?
Actually, voice it, running out the words at the same time.
Oh, that part actually was easy because I kind of like, it's something, I've been doing voices since I was this big. You know, I used to torture my poor mother, you know, running around doing stupid voices. So it's kind of something that I've always done. So that part kind of came naturally to me. That wasn't that big of a deal. Getting the job, that's the hard part. Getting the auditions, that's the hard part. But actually doing the work, that's the gravy. So yeah, it's just kind of something that I've always done. Yeah.
So for the less glamorous work, for commercials and things like that.
Yes.
How much of getting the part is having the absurd talent you just demonstrated on that reel versus just being
Thank you very
lucky?
much. Sorry, go ahead.
Versus just being lucky and being, of the 100 people who submitted, being the one who got the part.
Dude, that is an awesome question. So just for anybody who didn't hear that, what he asked is how much of getting the job is luck versus being really talented? 90% luck. Here's the thing. I know people in my life, okay, actors that I went to college with, that are not actors anymore, that have more talent in their little finger than I do in my entire body. But because I kept doing it, now I have my career. They decided that the business side of voice acting, or acting in general, it wasn't for them. So it really is about, it's just about that persistence and having the mentality that and this panel is called the business of voice acting, right? Okay, and that's why, because it's a business, okay? And that's really, you especially young man, because you're making the move. It's a business, dude. You got the talent, and we get to have fun and act, but it's a business. And really treat it as such, and treat your what's your name?
Kevin.
Kevin Inc. is now your name, okay?
Kevin Inc.
Kevin Inc.
You got
And
it.
so, like, that's it. So a lot of it really is just persistence and being in the right place at the right time. But being in the right place at the right time combined with being prepared, right? Because a lot of times you can be presented with that opportunity and you're not prepared, you blow the opportunity, right? So it's a tough career, and I'm not going to kid you and say that it's easy, because it's not. It's a tough career, but it's a very rewarding career. And if it's something you're passionate about, I highly encourage you to go for it. Yeah.
Meisner or Stanislavski?
I was more of where I paralleled. Is that Stanislavski or Meisner?
That would be Stanislavski.
Stanislavski. So I was more Stanislavski. So what he just asked is there are. Sorry. So what he was mentioning is Stanislavski. There are different types of study of acting, and so Stanislavski. The way that I learned, and this was actually a study that I did at University of Colorado, was the Stanislavski method, and that was I paralleled something like you have the content, right? And this is actually, I've used that my entire career, and you just totally made me have an epiphany. I just realized that I still use Stanislavski, and I've used Stanislavski my entire career, and I haven't even thought about that. What Stanislavski teaches is that you take a parallel situation, right? So if you have to cry on cue or something, right? You take something and you recall something that just was horrific that happened in your life that brings you to tears. If you think about it, and you bring that, and you think about that, and you think about that, and you think about that, and you bring the source material of the scene that you're doing into it, and you parallel that. And that's what I do with voiceover work. When you get a script, they're called sides, and what I'll do, they'll give you a character description, and in that character description, it takes, okay, well here's the character's a hero, they're a villain, they're whatever it is, and then you apply that to the dialogue of what's going on, and then I recall different things that have happened in my life to bring those aspects of that character. So yeah, definitely Stanislavski. Brought me all the way back to my college days. Thank you for that. Carolyn.
Is there a difference between voicing a mobile game and an actual big name video game title?
She asks, is there a difference between voicing a big title like AAA video game and a mobile game? No. Other than there's a lot more hoopla. But the acting's still the acting. It's still the same. You might go to a different studio and there might be more producers in the room or there, whatever. But no, it's all the same. It's still acting. Still the same thing. Yes?
Hi there. Sorry, I just got here, but with the rise of the internet, do you think that makes it easier or harder to get into voiceover?
Easier. With the rise of the internet, is it easier or harder to get into voice acting? Do you understand, like when I was your age, right? So when I first got into voice acting, like you had to be in LA, you had to be in New York, you had to have an agent. Now, you don't have to have an agent anymore. I mean, it's certainly helpful. I mean, please don't get me wrong. Agents are very useful, and they really do serve a very useful and purpose. But now there's just so much more opportunity to do voiceover work because there's so many more platforms for it, thanks to the internet. Then there's more platforms for you to audition. When I first started, I would ride my mountain bike all over Manhattan, all day, every day, going from casting office to casting office to casting office to casting office, auditioning. When I moved to Los Angeles, I was stuck in traffic all day, going from casting office to casting office to casting office. Now, I audition from home. It's great, thanks to the internet. So the internet has greatly facilitated being a voiceover artist, and it has provided a much more opportunity. So it's been a great thing. Yes, right here. Grimjow and Robin. How did I get those roles? Grimjow, I got initially from a video game. There was a video game called The Shattered Blade that came out 2 years before he was introduced into the anime. And I did that, but I knew who he was. And so I was like, okay, I love this character. I have to audition for this character. I want this character. And I got cast as him in the video game from Wendy Lee. But that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be cast in, and it was just a one-off video game. But that does not necessarily mean that you're going to get cast in the show. And so I basically emailed, picked up the phone and called the studio and was like, hey guys, David Vincent here. You know that character Grimjow? And they're like, yeah. I'd love to play him. And they're like, yeah. He doesn't come out for 2 years. And so I hounded them for 2 years, and then finally, I get an email and they're like, hey, can you come in for some auditions? I was like, yeah, sure. And I go in, and then there's the script for Grimjow with like 40 other guys auditioning for him too. And so I still wound up having to audition for him, but luckily I won the role. So Robin, same deal. I went in, it's a standard practice. You audition for something, you either get it or you don't. 99% of the time you don't get it. So as an actor, your job is to audition. Getting the job, that's just icing on the cake. That's gravy. Your job is to be a professional auditioner. Yeah.
What's more effective for reducing competition, poison or black metal?
Poison works really well. Yes.
So I was really enamored of your reel. That's very impressive, and I don't
Thank
have
you.
that kind of talent. But also, I'm not trying to get into anime. I just want to do like commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
The amount of actual voice work I've done is measured in lines, not in minutes. How do I put together a tape like that? A tape that's effective, not necessarily like.
Very easily. There are two programs that you need to know. If you're a Mac person, just GarageBand, and if you're a PC person, Audacity. Audacity is free.
So how mix?
Okay. Or yeah, exactly. And so I use a Blue Snowball microphone. A USB microphone, and now like technology.
I'm technically recording, and I'm talking about choosing like my corpus is so small I couldn't put together a whole minute of audio.
Then just create it yourself. Just create it yourself. Just Google advertising copy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and there's Edge Studios, and I'm not endorsing them, but I'm just saying that Edge Studios has some practice copy for you to use.
Cool.
And Google advertising copy, and then in that, just so you know, There are, if you Google it, don't use ad copy that's currently on the radio or TV. Use old stuff. Because you don't want anybody who hears it to go, wait a second, that's not him, you know, and they're hearing it on TV. Does anybody else have any questions? Yes?
More of a boring question, but since you are contracted and you go from company to company, how does your health insurance work?
Well, no, that's actually really a great question. Through the union, the Screen Actors Guild, there's something called the Screen Actors Guild and the American Federation of Radio and TV Artists. They actually merged, so now it's called SAG-AFTRA. And through SAG-AFTRA, you have to earn a certain amount of money under those guidelines. But after you've earned a certain amount of money under those guidelines, then you qualify for their health insurance plan. And so that's how you get health insurance. Personally, my wife, through her company, has a far superior health plan, and that's why we use hers, because we have a young daughter, and it just makes more sense. And it's just it's a far better plan than what SAG-AFTRA offers. Yeah.
Would it be easier going to Los Angeles or down to Texas?
What would be easier to give it a shot going into acting? I would say to Los Angeles or Texas. I mean, it just depends on what you want to do. I mean, do you want to be a voice actor for everything, or do you specifically want to be an anime voice actor? Okay, if you wanted to specifically do anime and only anime, Dallas. Funimation is an anime factory. If you want to be an actor, or if you want to be a voice actor that has a broader range of there's just more work in Los Angeles. There's more competition, but there's more work in Los Angeles. Great question. Yeah?
As a voice actor, I know as a stage actor, it sometimes helps to have your own website. Is it as important, would you say, for a voice actor to have your own website?
Great question, because I don't have my own website. I've been too lazy. But yeah, it's very helpful to have your own website. I highly recommend it, 100%. Of course, yeah. And D. Bradley Baker has the I Want to Be a Voice Actor website, which I highly recommend. It's an ugly website, but man, is it chock full of amazing information. And D. Bradley Baker is one of the most amazingly talented and successful voice actors out there, so I highly recommend his website.
Do you know if there's any much overlap between voiceover acting and people who narrate audiobooks?
Yeah, I mean, audiobooks is a huge part of voice acting. And audiobooks, the great thing about audiobooks is if you have the time, like I just flat out don't have the time to do an audiobook. It doesn't pay enough for me to allocate that kind of time to it. But the great thing is on an audiobook is that it's hours and hours and hours, hours and hours and hours of work. So it's steady work, you could say. And it's very creative. You know, because you're voicing these characters and you're bringing these characters to life. So audiobooks, I mean, if you want to be a voice actor, once again, if you want to do it from Denver, audiobooks, dude. Audiobooks, big time, all day long, yeah.
I'm rather unique kind of positions because I'm currently in the middle of like writing for stories that I'm mainly a writer, but I'm a storyteller as well.
Great, that's great.
And I think in a way that it's actually kind of contributed to how I get to do a lot of voices regarding that kind of, I do like a lot of impressions, and I think it's helping me actually build a bit of a range of voices with regarding all the characters that I'm doing. Because in a way, I think writing all these characters, you have to be able to like visualize everything about them, the likes and dislikes, how they
Yeah.
act, the voices and everything. So, would you think that would help if I were to actually decide to go and actually fully invest into a voice acting career?
Well, yeah, because if you look at somebody like Seth MacFarlane, right? He created all those characters and he voices a bunch of them. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say no. If you look at Trey Parker and Matt Stone, our own Colorado boys, I actually went to college with them. Yeah, I did. And so our own Colorado boys, they created those characters and they voiced them. Yeah. So yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
Were there any roles that you would say during your career that stick out as some of the most fun? Like what are your top roles?
Some of my top roles that I've done that I've had the most fun with.
Yeah, just talking fun aspects.
Grimjow from Bleach, I thought was a blast. I loved playing him. He was so much fun to just dive into that evilness of that character, and he's such a badass. You know, I loved playing him. I loved playing Gilgamesh. I loved playing Martial Law. He's one of my all-time favorites. And yeah, so I mean, those guys really stick out to me as great characters that I got to play. All the way in the back.
Let's say you are this after you don't have this talent. How do you like to get through this stuff? How do you know talent? How do you like it? How do you like it?
How do I what?
How do you get voice stuff?
How do you practice it?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, that's a great question. And honestly, that's actually a terrific question. And that is like, how, if you don't know if you have the talent? It doesn't matter. Just practice it. Do it anyway. Do you know what I said? I used to torture my poor mother when I was a kid. I'm not kidding about that. That's a true story. Like, she's come to a convention with me, and she's like, you did. You was annoying. And that's just what I did. And so, like, there's no like magic light switch that goes off and whoa, look at me, I'm really talented. No, it's just practicing, just doing it. And the more you do it, the more you learn. Just keep doing it. So don't worry about it necessarily being like, oh my gosh, do I have the talent, do I not have the talent? You either discover whether you like doing it or not, and if you like doing it, keep practicing. And keep practicing. Thank you. You got it. Yeah.
What was your least favorite voice that you've ever voiced? Do you have a least favorite?
My least favorite voice?
If you have one.
That's a great question. My least favorite voice that I have ever voiced would probably be like, I don't know, some lame commercial that I did or something. You know what, and she's great, and this is on tape, so no offense, Shalene. But I did this infomercial for Shalene Johnson's PIO. It's a Pilates yoga workout. And like literally I was in there for hours and hours and hours going, get PIO. And honestly, at the end of the session, I was like, what am I doing?
I'm getting paid.
Yeah. I didn't get PIO. I never got PIO. Yes.
Whether it be through story arcs or just through kind of inventing the character, have there been any sort of characters that have given you almost like a life-changing, you know, change of perspective or new lesson or something like that?
As far as the character goes, that is, I'm sorry?
Or any voice role, really.
Or any voice role. I don't know if I can say, like, if I can attribute it to a particular character or not, but what I can say is that the relationships that I have made. So I would say, like for instance, Grimjow was a big role for me, right? And so the relationships that I established with Wendy Lee and with Studiopolis and those companies, that was, yeah, that certainly had an impact on me. It had an impact on my career. So, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of that. I did a video game that never came out. In North America, it didn't come out, but it was called Disaster Day of Crisis. And I worked for 3 years on that video game, and that was a real, you know, monumental job for me, just because like I got to know and I got to work in the studio so much that it just kind of gave me a different perspective. Because when you're a young actor, you go into a studio and you kind of feel like it's like this magical place that you go in, and because you're only there for a short amount of time. But when the reality is, we're all there to accomplish something. And so it kind of helped me to turn my head, as opposed to, you know, being starstruck and being in a studio, to being like, hey man, we're here to really do something cool. Let's do something cool. Yeah.
So I realize not every role is like a large character that has much to them. When they are, how much of the character research that you do is something that you do on your own because you want to know more about the character? And how much do they give you?
Okay. So she's asking, not every character is that big. And so I put my most like researched work has been man number 2. I'm just kidding, I'm totally kidding you. No. As far as like the amount of work that we can do outside in anime, I mean, if you're the anime, the opportunity that we have with that is you get to see it if it's already out of Japan. You can go and find it online and research it and watch the characters. I tend to not do that. I tend to go directly off of the character description in that script, and then I take that and then I put my own take on it. And for other scripts, for voice acting specifically, now it's different for doing theater. In theater, you get the whole play, you can read the script backwards and forwards, then you can take and do all kinds of character development and research on it to really develop your character. In voiceover, you get the script, you got 30 seconds, and the director's like, and we're rolling. And so like you just don't get any time. Often, like now, because we do audition from home and we're able to get those scripts ahead of time, we can do that kind of research. But before, for many years, you had 30 seconds. You had the script, you had literally like 30 seconds to look at it, go through it, look at the lines, and you're on. And that was your audition. So, and same goes when you booked it too. You still wouldn't get any source material until you were actually at the studio getting ready to record it. Yeah?
Do you ever have any Robin Williams moments where you just go off with the character in his words?
I have improvised. It's tough to do with video games and it's tough to do with anime. But yeah, I mean, I have had some improvisation moments. I did a video game called Tales of Graces. And, oh, good. Richard, yes, I did Richard, and there's these skits, these funny skits, and so like there was this one skit, I don't even remember like what the context of it was, but my character and I think it was Malik were having this conversation about Sharia, who's a female character, and the dialogue was written such that Malik was trying to, I don't remember the context or what was said, but it essentially was trying to figure out how to ask her out or something. And at any rate, so like one of the lines that I improv'd was like, okay, yes, let's role play or something like that. And then like he comes in and pretends that he's asking her out, but it's me. And then so I decided instead of doing what was written on the script to pretend like I was actually Sharia and going, Captain! And so the whole studio like lost it, they were laughing and they kept it. And so that type of stuff happens occasionally. In commercial work, radio work, yeah, you have more freedom to do that. But in anime and video games, there's not a ton of freedom. You have to kind of stick to the script, yeah.
How do you get paid? So like I've done a little bit of voiceover work, but it's always been just free, non-commercial stuff. How do you know if you're gonna actually, like if you're offered a contract, how do you know you're not getting ripped off? How do you know if you go to an agent, how do you know that the agent is legit, like the business stuff like that?
Great question. An agent will only make money if you make money. 100%. And I said this last night, there are agents here like the John Casablancas, I don't know if they're still in business or not, but that type of stuff, oh my God, stay away from them. Agents will only make money if you make money, okay? They take 10% of what you make. A manager will make 15%. That's it. How do you know you get paid? If I would imagine that you're non-union. So they should have terms in there of what the rate is, of what they're gonna pay you.
But I mean, what are reasonable rates for?
Oh my gosh, that's all over the place, man. There's no, I mean, here's the thing. You can do a voiceover and buy a house. You can do a voiceover and buy lunch. It's all over the place. It just depends on whatever that person's budget is. Now, back in the day, it used to be like it was a set thing and it was only union and everything else. But with internet, there's more work, but then now the continuity and the pricing has gone, it's all over the place. So look at what they're offering you and that's what you're gonna get paid. So if it's a union job, that means that you get royalties or residuals. And that's pretty good stuff because then you're making money, right? Then you're getting the checks in the mail, which we all love. Yes? Yep.
So, I don't know if you read manga or anything like that. I know there was, like, one time I read manga, or I read, like, I don't know if you're familiar with Pokemon.
I am familiar with the title. I'm not familiar with this series. I haven't read it.
But yeah, like, I was reading it, and, like, I kind of imagined myself as voicing one of the characters and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read manga and kind of done the same at some point.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I haven't read a lot of manga. You know, I've read a little bit of Bleach, stuff like that. But yeah, whenever I read, I definitely have voices in my head that I read with. 100%. Yeah.
How important is an agent, and what's the best way about getting one?
Oh, okay. This is a question that I have a very, very bold opinion on. What she asked me is how important is an agent, and what's the best way to get one? So, I was at one point signed with probably one of the biggest voiceover agents in Los Angeles for well over a decade. She and I, oh man, did we clash. Here's what I'll say. It's important to get one, but don't ever rely on your agent. Don't ever make the mistake, okay? Learn from my mistake. Don't ever go in and think, oh, I got an agent. And, oh my God, and if she's like a really big agent, oh my gosh, her reputation is amazing. Now I've got it made. Don't do that. You're in control of your career. Agents, the way agents work, honestly, is whoever is the hottest, that's on the front of their mind. And so once you book something, you're up there, but you know what? If you have a book, then you're no one. And so, like, agents, take them with a grain of salt. Use them, get one, but don't ever stop hustling. You gotta hustle. You're the one in charge of your career. You know what? Because if you're not making money, she doesn't care, or he doesn't care, because they've got 20, 30 other clients that are making the money. And so, like, you really have to hustle your own career. Don't ever make the mistake of sitting back and be like, all right, I got a great agent. Money's gonna start rolling in, here come the jobs. The best way to get an agent is that demo reel that I played earlier, is make one of those, submit it out to the agencies. Voiceover Universe and voicebank.net have the list of every single voiceover agent in America. Yeah. Bye, Carolyn. Bye, Elise.
How do you work with the constraints of workshops, like specifically for writing? Because I know that you can have technical performances, but like weird positives that
Yeah, I just finished directing a series too. And what he asked is like, how do you do your acting to match that lip flap? Because it's already animated in Japan. And that's a real skill. It's a technical skill that you learn, and it's a technical kind of acting. So, I mean, there's a lot going on, you know? You have to be able to deliver a believable performance, match the timing and the lip flap of what's going on camera. They have these things called hitches where you're supposed to pause, come back in, pause, come back in. And so it can be pretty challenging to do. But, I mean, it's a skill that you learn. And you just practice. You right there.
So what kind of technology would you recommend for an amateur voiceover?
I would say spend minimally, so get a USB microphone, which are less than $100. And are you a Mac or PC? Use Audacity because it's free. And what you want to do is you want to go into a part of your home that is don't go and record where there's like hardwood floors or tile floors or anything like that. Go into your closet if you can to record, because that will deaden the reflection of the sound around you, and it'll give you a better sound quality. But that's all you need. That's all you need. You don't need to invest a ton of money. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, she has a question.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to get your perspective. As an actor in your career, what do you find find is the most, specifically the most enjoyable part for you?
For me, okay, what she asked is, in my career specifically, what is the most enjoyable part for me? This, 100%. Honestly, like, this was never on my radar. I never knew that conventions existed. It never occurred to me when I started acting 20 years ago. And so, like, the fact, and especially when I started doing anime, I had no idea. I didn't even know what an anime convention was. And so, for me, getting to travel the world and meet fans of the work that we all love, and get to meet new friends and get to come and hang out, hands down. This is the best part. This is the absolute icing on the cake. You have one.
Okay, what are like any tips you would say if you were to get an audition? Any tips to help you get the part?
Any tips to help you get the part? I would say is try not to think about it too much. Don't overthink it. I think so many actors, because I'm a director and I also, have taught, don't overthink it. So many actors overthink it way too much. And they want everything to be just perfect. It's not about that. It's about you just doing it and bringing your interpretation of it. So don't overthink it. That's what I would say. Wow. Holy cow. Yeah, all the way in the back. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
No.
so
Yeah.
I don't know if you're on, YouTube or anything a lot, but or on the internet, but have you ever ran into someone that you thought they would be a great voice actor, but they weren't interested in it? Like they have the talent for it, but they just weren't interested in it. It was kind of like a letdown.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I've necessarily thought about that. I mean, there's no shortage of voice actors, so no, I mean, there's lots of people who have exceeding amounts of talent, but necessarily don't want to pursue a career in it. But yeah, I mean, certainly there are plenty out there. Young man, yeah.
Hello, sorry I was late. I don't know if you were already asking me, what are the circumstances where a voice actor would have to sacrifice creative independence for financial stability? And do you think the decision is worth it?
Okay, so that's actually a really good question, and that is to sacrifice, where's the line, right? That you draw to sacrifice your creativity, your creative integrity versus getting a paycheck. And that's really up to you as an individual. I have lines in the sand that I've drawn that I won't cross. I won't voice hentai. I won't do any of that type of stuff. I've got a 4-year-old at home, and I don't want her growing up to being like, Dad, So I'm not gonna, and that's just for me, that's my personal choice. Even long before my daughter came into this world, I made that choice that wasn't something that I was gonna lend a voice to. It's up to you specifically. It's really up to you what your decisions are, and I would just say, as far as creativity, creativity as far as I just really believe that the character would really feel, happy if the butterfly landed on the speaker. But the director is saying, no, the butterfly is actually a bird, and the bird is an eagle that is going to eat the rabbit. You have to say, all right, well, that's what the director wants. So I'm gonna deliver, as the actor, I'm gonna give the director what he or she wants. So, I mean, that type of creativity, you have to curb yourself. Even though you may feel that the butterfly is landing on the speaker, the director wants the eagle to eat the rabbit. Make the eagle eat the rabbit. You know what I'm saying? That was a weird analogy. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, you.
Since earlier you mentioned that there was a game that wasn't released in North America, have
Yeah.
there been many other voiceover roles that end up getting canceled?
Oh my gosh, yes. I cannot tell you how many times I have landed a role and been like, oh yeah, man, this is gonna be huge. Nothing. Crickets. And even when it's gotten released, nothing. Crickets. And then something that I completely go in and just forget about because it was never even occurred to me. And then it blows up and it's this huge thing. So that happens all the time. All the time. There's no rhyme, no reason to it. You think something's gonna be huge and it's like crickets. And then vice versa, something that it didn't even occur to you. And then all of a sudden it's huge. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Particularly crazy goals in my career that
Yeah, what she asked me is about warm-ups, vocal warm-ups. Are you in theater school?
Graduated.
Graduated, okay. So yes, there are vocal warm-ups. When I was, where did you go to school?
University of Northern Colorado.
Okay, UNC, very good. So the theater warm-ups that we used to do were the my, all this weird stuff that we used to do. And to be honest with you, when I was there, I hated it. So what I do now is I sing very poorly to bad country music in my car on the way to the studio, and that warms me up. It gets my voice warmed up, and then by the time I'm there, you know, I'm pretty much good to go. But there are a lot of vocal warm-ups. There are tongue twisters, all kinds of things like that I do recommend that you do to help you kind of get in the zone. Yeah.
How is it working with other voice actors in the studio?
It's wonderful. Honestly, this industry is so competitive that it's hard to be a jerk and work in this industry. So it's filled with, honestly, the loveliest people you'll ever meet. They're just fantastic. Yes. Yeah. Yep. You.
Okay. It's kind of cool that you just mentioned singing poorly to country music.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, what kind of correlation is there between developing singing skills versus voice acting skills? Because I know they encompass a lot of the same kind of techniques that you.
Hand in hand. Hand in hand. Some of the best voice actors are singers, and some of the best singers are voice actors. Cassandra Lee Morris, a colleague of mine here, sings like an angel. Has the most beautiful singing voice. I never knew that she could sing like that because I've known her for years. And it wasn't until we were doing this thing for Unlocked, which if you don't know about it, I'll tell you about Unlocked. But we were doing this thing for Unlocked that I heard her singing this song, and I was like, oh my God, I had no idea she could sing like that. Singers and voiceover artists are two in the same. So if you can sing, kudos to you, because I cannot. Yeah, use that. I mean, you'll be a great voice actor then. Most singers are really good voiceover actors. Yes.
So let's say you finally got an audition for something. How do you go about preparing for that audition?
For a voiceover audition or for a theatrical audition? For a theatrical audition, it's a little bit different. I'll tell you, for a voiceover audition, it's pretty quick. You read the sides, that's the script, the dialogue, and then you read the character description to see what the character traits are. Are they old, young, villain, hero, melancholy, bubbly, whatever those are, and then you take the dialogue in that script and you find out what the character wants. Why are they saying what they're saying? Because as a voiceover artist, you never open your mouth without a reason. So you find out what it is that the character wants, then you apply those character traits to what they want, and that's where you come up with the attitude of the character, and that's where the voice comes from. For theatrical, that's a bit different. That's when you get into, you're developing a character, where you're going in and you're reading the whole play, or you're reading the whole screenplay, or whatever it is, and then you're going in and you're developing the character. You create a backstory that isn't written into the character to figure out, okay, so this guy's 40 years old, he's a salesman, out-of-work salesman, and then you invent and create his backstory of like, well, he just came from a long trip trying to look for work and whatever, and then you bring that into the read of the character that you do. So for theatrical stuff, be it TV, film, theater, that's all, there's a lot more work that goes into that. As for a voiceover, you just don't have that luxury of going in and doing that because it's so quick. It's so fast-paced. Yes, in Striped Shirt.
Is there a character that you're particularly proud of their message? Like you thought you really loved out and you liked what they stood for?
A character that I liked their message. Seiji Yagami from Durarara, because you can be 15 years old and in love with a disembodied head, and it's okay. I'm kidding. No, I love that question. I don't know. There's just so many. Most of the characters that I do are, they're either villains or something like that. So, I don't know. I like Mr. Niblet from Bodge. He's a talking rabbit from India that is teaching the children about exercise and keeping them healthy. That's a good one. Yeah.
This is oddly specific, but when you were studying in Boulder, did you ever work with Laura Kutera?
Why does that name sound familiar? Laura Kutera.
About this tall, eccentric director. She worked with Matt Stone and Trey Parker at the CU.
Laura Kutera, the name is very familiar to me. Was she in the theater department or the film department?
She would have been theater.
Laura Kutera. Possibly. Yeah, because I'm friends with all of those people still. Laura Kutera, I'm trying to remember. It's possible. She would know me as David Ernest, and not David Vincent though. But yeah, it's quite possible. Is she still around?
I assume so. In 1,000 years, she'll be misdirecting things.
Right. Yeah.
So, when you have all these roles, and many of them have very distinctive voices. When you go into an audition, did you pull out, when you audition for 15-year-old, did you do that voice when you audition? And,
I did.
And how do you balance sort of the risk of like picking some out there voice, and every other auditioner is going to have a different out there voice, and even if you did a really amazing job, the director's like, nah, I want this other voice. Like, how do you balance like playing straight versus going really out on a limb with the voice?
You have to go with your own choice and just don't care. DC Douglas, and this is pretty crass, but he's like, treat auditions like toilet paper. You're done with it, man. Just go in, use your choice as an artist and an individual. Make your choice. Don't second guess it. When it's done, it's done.
Does the director ever say do a different voice? Like they
yes.
You and then
Now here's
we don't like that.
Yes. Now here's the thing: is that and a lot of times, and that's a great thing, is if you make a bold choice, right? And the director says, "Hey, man, that's not what I'm looking for, but I like what you did. Now come in and try it this way." I like that. I direct. And so like for me, hearing somebody make a bold choice, then I know, hey, I can take them in another direction. So that doesn't bother me as much. I'll tell you what, as a director, it's much harder to bring somebody up, to give me more energy, than it is to tone somebody down. So I'm always a fan of, I'd rather have you give me more than less. But that's my personal opinion. Yes? You first and then you. And then I think that's probably about all the time I have.
Can you use stuff from canceled things in your reel?
Yes. From canceled things like shows, you mean?
Just stuff that didn't go through.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I've had people recommend to me to make a second voice reel, like to have two voice reels, one for like more animation, video game, whatever purposes, and one for like commercials. Would you recommend that?
100% yes. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. His question was, would you recommend having 2 reels or 3 reels even, one for animation, one for commercials and demos and things like that? And the answer is yeah, 100% yes. I also have commercial demo. I have different demos as well. So yeah, I mean, it's just great because, they're not gonna, hearing fun, they're not gonna cast you as, Kmart, low sell prices from that. So have something that's specific to the industry you're going to. And if you're moving to Los Angeles, you're gonna want a commercial reel. Yeah. Yes, if a project gets canceled, you get paid regardless. Most of the time, just so you know, when you're doing voiceover, you get paid a session fee, which means that you're paid to come in and do the job, regardless of whether it gets picked up or not. Now, if it's a video game, it's that way. If it's a radio or a TV commercial or a TV series or anything like that, then you get residuals on top of that, so then you really want that show to get picked up because every time it plays, then you're getting paid again. So that's, so yes, but if a series gets canceled, or if a show gets canceled or a game gets canceled, whatever it is, you get paid for your time there in that, in the booth. Okay, and I think that was it for my time, but hey, before you guys leave, real quick, first off, I would love for you, there's another actor by the name of Bryce Papenbrook, and he and I started a company together called Fan Connect Inc. We launched an app called Unlocked, and we're in beta right now. It's on iOS. If you have iOS, download it. It's a great way to chat with your favorite actor and industry people, but it's called Unlocked. And then We are coming out with our next version is coming out in 6 to 8 weeks. It'll be on Android as well. And in that, it's going to be a whole community. It's a community for us. It's a fan community, and we'd love to have you guys be a part of it. And then in addition to that, and this is something that like I've never done, and it feels kind of awkward to say this, but yesterday I found out that my cousin, whom I have grown up with since we were kids catching frogs together, unfortunately was just diagnosed with cancer. He is the sole breadwinner for his family, and so they're obviously going through some dire straits right now. Even if it's $1, go to my Facebook page. It's just David Vincent VA for voice actor, and if you have $1 to give and help his family out, I would certainly appreciate it. It's the GoFundMe. It's the top post on my Facebook page. And just to kind of give them, he needs to be fighting the cancer and not fighting bills. So at any rate, and sorry to ask you guys that, but that was just something that like really kind of hit home to me. And thank you guys for your time. Did I answer some questions for you?
Yeah.
Did. Good. Now, who's here tomorrow? I would love it if you came to my David Vincent's voice acting tryouts.
Yes.
Because it is loads of fun. I am going to be giving away prizes, and you guys will get to participate. And what's more fun than that is that I'm going to torture you, and then I'm going to kill you. Okay? So you're not going to want to miss it. Come tomorrow to be killed. Okay? So it's tomorrow. I believe it's at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock tomorrow. Come, get killed. Thank you guys for coming.